So at this stage, I have the dash panels with a base coat of white paint, and I just messed up my tape there. A base coat of white paint and tape all the way around it, around the edges. I also have feet, just little foam pieces that I cut out on the bottom so that they'll sit flat. And there's my gauge panel, and this is my switch panel, and this is going to take me a minute to get prepped. These holes here, I have tape behind it, but unless I fill those holes, it's going to take a lot. This self-leveling epoxy will need to fill those holes and come up to level with the rest of the panel. So it's in my best interest to take and fill that hole with something so that it doesn't use up as much product. This product is $100 a gallon without color or flake in it. So you want to be mindful how you use it. So I've just taken the tape. I actually have pinstriping tape because I have another hobby. And this is, I think, the 1/2 inch. And gone around the circles. Now there is one little hole because your gauges have a notch in them right there. And I'm not going to worry about that. This is actually my second attempt at this. I wasn't happy with, I had not gone to this detail of prepping my panels with the tape and everything, and I had done the epoxy before, and I sanded it all off and started fresh. So note, prep, do it right the first time. You'll be happy with your results. I hope. We'll see. You're going to follow me. Okay, hang on. I just wanted to point out that this foam I'm using is 1/4 inch, I think. It's just craft foam. It's like $1 a piece. It is, you know, made in China like everything else. But it's just a big piece of craft foam. And I'm just cutting out the sizes that I need. This is what I made the feet out of. You know, see the little foot down there. That's what I made the feet out of. That's what I'm making these little blocks out of. So, just so you know. Okay, I have all my little blocks made, and I filled this hole in with just some pieces, and it's not tight fitting or anything, but every little bit will save material. I had put I'd already put tape across the back of this one, so I decided just to put foam on it to fill in that hole. When I got to this panel, I had decided, okay, well, I'll just put the tape around it. So I'll show you how that'll work. And I had decided not to do anything with the holes when I was doing these panels, but when I got to this panel, I had rolled up some little tiny flimsy sheet foam and then put tape around it and cut it and jammed it in those holes. Now, those other smaller holes right there are actually screw holes, so I didn't want to really do anything with those because they're threaded. Those holes are threaded. So, and so are these two holes threaded. So I'm not going to bother plugging those holes because, you know, threaded holes in aluminum strip out so easily. I just figured, well, I'll just leave them there. Anyway, the blocks are all in here, and then so these circles are going to take up a good amount of product as well. So what I did was I took this really flimsy foam and I just put it over top of there, and this foam is so flimsy that I can just press this and get an indentation. Then when I flipped it over, there it is. I cut out that circle, and now I'm going to use it as a template on my black foam here and use just a straight edge razor. It's really staticky. Where'd it go? There it is. And use my straight razor blade, and I'll cut out just about 1 million of them here now, and plug those holes. So hang on. Okay, so I've got all the little circles cut and all the switch places where the switches go all filled in, so you can see that they're higher than the panel, so that's going to allow the epoxy to self-level without having to fill up those holes. And I did take the end of my scissors and clean out these screw holes here, and you can see I've got some scuffs in there, but this is self-leveling epoxy, so it's not going to matter. I did paint this really heavy and then wet sanded it, but those scuff marks aren't going to matter because, as I said, it's self-leveling. So now for this panel here, I've got to put the tape around the outside edge like I did here. And this one here has that, the way it goes in the dash is like this one. So it stands up like this. And when you put it in the dash, this edge goes down in first, and then it gets smashed into the dash, and then you put your screws, or actually what holds it to the dash. So what I did on this one, because the way this epoxy works, I put a little wall here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the epoxy on here and let it self-level for about an hour or two, depending. And then I'll go ahead and pull this wall off, and it'll flow down here, but I don't need such a heavy coat, and I don't need all the epoxy to run down here. I just need a kind of a thin coat down there to make it coat the whole panel. So I'll be doing the same thing on this one as well. And I'm going to take you out to the shop and show you some stuff. But I also want to note here that it's important. I want to show you out in the shop. It's important to keep the back of your panel clean and to keep the epoxy and the paint off of it, because some of your switches are grounded to the panel, and some, like all these indicator lights that go here, and I'll show them to you out there in the shop, they actually have a ground strap on them too, so they have to come in contact. You don't want them sitting on epoxy or paint. They have to be grounded in order for them to work properly. So you know what I did up here, I filled that hole, and just for the purpose of doing everything to the greatest degree of excellency I can, I'm going to go ahead and fill these holes too. So stay tuned. Okay, in this box here, we have, set that down, we have epoxy. We have Stone Coat. This is made by Stone Coat. And this is a 1-to-1. This is your resin part A and your resin part B. And I came across Stone Coat epoxy, and I just fell in love with the whole concept. And then we're going to put an ultimate top coat on it. That is the natural clear. Nope, we're not going to use that one. We are going to use the gloss. We are going to use the high gloss when we get done. But let's see. That is the hybrid. Oh, that goes with that bottle. Okay, so we've got our sticks. We've got some resin color. We're going to color this. And that's black. We're not going to use black. I'm going to use a mixing cup, and I have used the primer before on it, under it. This stuff is amazing. The ultimate primer sealer bonder, but I have used Krylon paint under this. So But here's what's going on the dash. Is white glitter. I actually I fell in love with something that Stone Coat sells called Diamond Dust, and I bought it, but I've been planning this project for almost a year, and I can't find where I put the diamond dust. So, and this is taking a lot longer than I thought. I would have had time to actually order some more, but I like this. It'll be all right. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to use this just good old Walmart ultra fine, extra fine crystal diamond glitter. So stay tuned. Okay, I've mixed up the epoxy and added the glitter, and 6 ounces total. 3 ounces of part A and 3 ounces of part B did all 5 of these panels. So there's a lot of holes in these panels, but this epoxy is pretty thick on here too. Let me see if I can get the camera to pick up the glitter in it. There you go. It's not pink. It looks pink. It's actually that white, but it does have kind of a holographic look to it. There you go. So I'm going to wait an hour, and then I'm going to pull this tape off, and it will start to flow over the edge, which is fine, but the top, and see that wall, that dam I built there? I didn't want this to just run down this edge, and it did. It leaked outside a little bit. So the one thing you tackle with this stuff is surface tension. So you've got to make sure that you get it all the way to the edge, and once you get it all on there, I used my handy dandy snap-on heat gun here, the mini thing that it's got all, it cuts my wire loom, it's a plastic welder, it's a soldering gun. This thing is cool. I like this thing. Christopher has one, so I had to have one too. And anyway, so yep, gonna wait an hour, probably gonna run to the grocery store. I need a couple of things for dinner tonight, and I'm gonna come back, pull the tape off, and let it run over the edge, and it needs 24 hours to cure, and then it'll be getting a high gloss top. Ooh, look. Did you catch that metal flake in there? That's gonna be awesome on my dash. So, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Check that out. Did you catch it? There it is. Yeah. All right, so stay tuned.